Hi, my name's Glenn, and the purpose of this video is to give you a basic introduction to international time zones. Now, the first thing you need to know is that I'm wearing my pajama top. I know it's not particularly nice, but it was cheap. The reason I'm wearing this pajama top is that I represent nighttime, okay, darkness, right? Nighttime and darkness, that's me. You, on the other hand, represent daytime or light. So in fact, you could represent the sun. So feel free to put a yellow shirt on. Alright, so I'm darkness, you're light. I'm nighttime, you're daytime. And what's in between us is the earth. Okay, so sun, you're looking directly at the earth, and as the fabulous country of Australia comes directly looking at you, parts of Australia there are at midday. Alright, in full sun. On the opposite side of the world, the countries that I'm looking at right now, which are approximately around South America, those countries are facing away from the sun and are in complete darkness, nighttime. Okay? So we just need to understand the concept that around the world at different times, there are 24 hours of time zones. And some are in daytime, some are in nighttime. Right, now Australia, or parts of Australia, are at midday. And as we turn, if we look at Australia as a whole, it's getting towards afternoon. And now, midday is around here in the Indian Ocean. Australia is in afternoon, and it's getting towards nighttime for Australia. In fact, the eastern states are probably now in darkness or just the end of their afternoon, and Australia keeps turning, and Australia is now in early evening, nighttime. It's really quite dark. Whereas perhaps Africa is around midday. Okay, southern Africa there. So Australia, now if I keep turning it, eventually will be at midnight. I'm looking directly at it. So it's now midnight in Australia. Countries here, South America is probably in the morning. Now it's coming around to midday in South America. And now South America goes to the afternoon. And somebody's coming back into morning the next day. Steadily. As we keep turning in Australia, you'll just start to see again is in the morning. Keeps turning and turning and turning. And now it's approximately midday again in Australia. It's a very simple example. There's a lot more science to this, seasons, all sorts of information. But this concept that I want you to get from this particular video is just that around the world, there are some places are in daytime and some places are in nighttime. I can probably move the globe now. And to give you an example of where this might be used is in international sports. You need to know what the time zone is when Wimbledon's on or a race is on that you want to get up and watch, or some sort of a sporting event, or perhaps anything else that you want to watch live. Alright, so that's how it works. It gives you a basic introduction. Let's have a closer look now at a time zone map and the exact hours and how they work. Here's a flat map of the world, and it's giving us information about time zones. If I just draw your attention to Australia, to the bottom right corner, there are some numbers on the states or sections of Australia, if you like. Western Australia has 8, Central Australia has 9.5, and Eastern Australia has 10. Now those numbers actually refer to the position relative to Greenwich Mean Time. How far ahead of Greenwich Mean Time they are. In the centre, we have Greenwich Mean Time, which is given the value of 0. Now Greenwich is a district or suburb, if you like, within London. Right? And that red band there goes through the United Kingdom and also parts of Africa and Europe and those sorts of things, and they're on Greenwich Mean Time or 0. Everything to the east of that, including lots of Asia and Australia, is ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. Alright, so Eastern Australia is plus 10. Ignoring daylight saving, okay? So let's have a look at how it works. That's any countries in that green zone there are +1, 1 hour ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. These are +2, +3, +4, 5, 6 and 7 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. Here's the Australian section here. Should really be +8, +9 and +10. And also to the north of us, we've got a fair section of Asia in the same time zones as well. What we did mention though was that Central Australia was 9.5. So governments can make decisions about what time zone they will actually be in. But as a guide, we're 8, 9 and 10. Central Australia is actually 9.5. Then we go to 11 and 12 out towards New Zealand, the South Pacific there, South Pacific Islands. Okay, so up to 12 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. To the west is -1, -2, and so on. All right, as we get to the Americas. All right, so if you're in the eastern states of Australia, you're +10, ignoring daylight saving. 10 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time. So whatever time it is now, as you're watching this, if you were to phone someone who lived in London, it would be 10 hours earlier. So would it be a good time to call now? Would they be awake? Would they be asleep? Would they be at school? Would they be at work? All right, you have to consider these things if you're dealing with people across the world.